Thank you very much, Sister Shanice. It's very interesting. This is the hottest news that is happening across the world today. The victory of Trump and the fact that he has been able to win the vote and convincingly. I mean, convincingly, he has been able to win it. The Senate, they have taken the Senate and the House of Representatives. Also, the Republicans have taken it, so it is a convincing victory. But this, what it signifies, there's a couple of things what this shows in itself. That the world is changing, and as we have mentioned, and many other people across the world, prominent people across the world have mentioned, people like President Xi Jinping of the People's Republic of China have said that the changes that are happening today have never happened, in the last 100 years. So he said this when he was in Russia. I think it was last year when he went to meet President Putin. So it plays very much in also our hands as Pan-Africanists, in what we have been observing for this long, since 2020, that there's something really big that is happening. So these forces, they are not only leading to changes within the colonized world, oppressed world, but even within the imperialistic camp itself. These contradictions, you see them playing out. So the people themselves within are tired of the hypocrisy of the mainstream politicians, as we know that Trump is not your typical politicians. But of course, this does not mean that it's good for us as African people. I think that we have to make it very clear. But the people are expressing that disappointment. The fact that Trump was voted by, Africans in the United States, the so-called African Americans, he was voted by Muslims. They are looking at how these people, the likes of Obama, Nancy Pelosi, Hillary Clinton, how these people have destroyed the world. And they are seeing, they are seeing that something new has to be done. So what they are saying, what they are communicating this vote, the American people, is that we are willing to try out anything, even if it is the worst option that is there. We are willing to try it out, other than continuing the same, group that is continuing the destruction and sending weapons to Gaza, to Israel to destroy Gaza. Obama sending drones in Somalia and banning, of course, African media like African Stream, sending weapons to Ukraine. So it's destruction all over after destroying, Iraq, Libya, Afghanistan, and all these. And it's the same group. So the American people themselves, what they're telling us also is that they don't want the United States to be involved in the affairs of other countries. That era is over, and many people actually have been saying it. Many commentators like Farid Zakaria, who is a prominent mainstream commentator, who spoke and said that America has reached a point where it cannot continue to expand itself in what he called imperial overreach. So this imperial overreach is costing the United States more than it is gaining from this engagement with the world, and this aggressive, not a good engagement with the world, but an aggressive engagement with the world. So the American people are saying that they need their country back, and that is why you are seeing that Trump, this is the narrative that he has been pushing around: America, make America great again, America first. All right, let other people take care of the other countries, their countries, and let us also take care of our countries. What this presents to us as Pan-Africanists, I think that it is predictability. We are going to have predictability because we know what Trump, does. When he wants something, he says it as it is. If we remember that he called African countries and the other Caribbean countries, called them, a very dangerous word, which he said is the shithole countries. But of course, what he did not say is that the United States has been pivotal to making these countries shithole countries. The United States has greatly contributed to making these places shithole countries. So that is the problem, of course, with these imperialistic countries, the colonial countries, that they will mention corruption in our countries, but they will not tell you that in 2024, this very year, the African Development Bank came out with a report which said that Africa is losing about $600 billion from the continent, and at the top, at the top of the people who are stealing the money up to $275 billion is Western corporations. They're the ones who are leading the looting of the African continent. They will not tell you that. So that is the irony of the Western narrative, that when they talk about corruption, for example, they don't mention how much they are stealing from us. They always push it on us alone, that we are the ones who are destroying our own lives. When they say it is a shithole country, like what Trump says, they don't say how much the CIA has interrupted the African continent and killed the African leaders who want it. So they say Africa's problem is the problem of leadership. Africa's problem at the top of it is not really leadership, but imperialism and aggression that is, disturbing the continent. That every time we get a good leader, Magufuli, the Nkrumahs, the Sobukwes, the Lumumbas, the Sankaras, imperialism comes and takes them out and kills them. So these, they don't mention them. So I think that it is very important for these to be also put out there. But on the whole, Trump presents for us an opportunity of predictability to understand what the United States is going to do. Unlike people like Obama, who comes and then he hugs Gaddafi, and he hugs other African leaders, and then within a month he comes and attacks you with, missiles and bullets and whatever it is, jets, military jets, and they destroy the whole country. So this is what Obama is. So these people, they don't only represent hypocrisy, with of course all their institutions, including the media, which Trump has vividly say that it is corrupt. The media in the United States is corrupt. We are not the ones saying this, because we have been saying it for a very long time, but many people have not been believing us, maybe because we are Africans. But a whole United States president has come out to say that the United States media is corrupt, is completely corrupt. So this should go out there to other Africans to understand that platforms like this, like Sister Shani's show, they represent what Africa should be, or what Africans should be saying, or the African narrative. Even though these platforms may be blackballed, sometimes they look at us in a certain way. They manipulate the algorithm so that these channels will not come out there to broadcast to African people. So African people have to understand that if a United States president, Trump, comes out and says that this system is corrupt, it is corrupt. He has spoken about it repeatedly, that Washington, Capitol Hill, they are corrupt. Those people are corrupt. The Democrats are corrupt. And of course, he did not say only the Democrats, but even the Republicans themselves. We saw George Bush and Dick Cheney and all these guys. So the system is corrupt in Washington and all over, European capitals. And so the African people have to understand this. So this presents to us an opportunity to struggle, and knowing that the puppets which are on the continent are not going to be protected by anyone, because Trump doesn't like them and completely tells them what they are. All right, and he tells them that you can't come here and spend money, your people's money in our countries and stuff like that. So there's predictability. That is what I see. That is an advantage for us as an African group of people, internationally. So we need to get our act together and, of course, wage a more, intensified struggle for the liberation of the African continent for all African people across the world.